Playing cards for cardistry. Hey guys, Alex here. I was thinking about making a top 5, but then again I thought I'm going to leave out some decks. I didn't want to do so, but then extending the list to top 10, I wasn't really sure about that either, so I decided to stop at this random number 8. And we're also going to have a giveaway later at the end of the video, so stay tuned and let's start from the number 8. The first deck that we're going to be taking a look right now, and this is a Peau Doux playing cards. This is a Peau Doux White Glove edition. We have covered the entire lineup of Peau Doux playing cards except for the silver edition, which has been released just recently. One of our previous unboxing videos was about Peau Doux playing cards. I really appreciate the fact that you don't have borders over here, so that means that you can create awesome fans like this, and these are allowing you to create two-way fans like this. So these cards were produced by the United States Printers Company, and they were printed using the crushed stock, and that means that the cards are quite thin, and this is a personal preference. I like my cards to be a little bit thicker, kinda like my women. And if you want to see these cards in action, check out a short clip from one of our previous videos. So the next deck is one of the latest decks from Chris Orbit Brown. This is the latest 6th edition and it features this green colorway. What I like about the Orbit deck is that they have this circle in the center, and for cardists it's really nice because you can perform moves like pirouette or padiddle, and this circle complementing every spinning motion. So these cards have been also printed by the United States Printers Company using the crushed stock. It is printed on B premium paper. I would say they're different in terms of handling compared to Peau Doux, for instance, but they're real nice and really nice for cardists as well. So speaking of the next deck, the creators claim that this deck was designed for cardistry, and it makes sense in a way. This is Cardistry Touch, and this is the Pulse deck. This is the 2nd edition pretty much. Both decks feature this really nice box that opens in an unusual way, and you can also see that there are no faces on these cards. I mean, there are faces, but all the faces are identical. That means that you can't really perform magic tricks. I mean, you kinda can if you want to troll your spectators.
Возьми карту, запомни. Есть? Смотри. Подуй на колоду. Он целует колоду. Подними верхнюю карту. Это она?
The deck designed specifically for cardistry. It has been printed by Cartamundi in Belgium. These decks feel really soft and completely different if you take any United States Printers Company deck. So you got to try them out and see if you really like how they feel. And we have also filmed a short video featuring the 2nd edition and the 1st edition previously, so now let's check it out. These cards in action. So for the next deck, this is probably one of the best decks for cardistry ever, and of course this is the deck designed by cardists who have been in the community for many years, including, but now unfortunately not, Kevin Ho. And then of course one of the leaders is Huron Low, Darren. The latest edition as of now is this green deck. This is one of the earlier editions. I like the colorway. This is the Spring Summer 15. These have been also printed by United States Plinkers Company. Probably crush stock for the latest edition for sure. And what's also interesting that the first three editions to be precise, were featuring these thin borders, but with the latest two editions they have opted to go without borders. This cards fan as well, really nice. And we have also filmed quite a few videos featuring Virtuoso playing cards. So the next deck, and we are getting really close to top 3 of my all-time list, is Aladdin 1001. And this is in particular the deck that has been produced in Ohio. It's difficult to explain, but you have to try out some cards which have been produced in Ohio and compare them to the ones that are being produced now. And you'll definitely notice the difference. So we have some in our shop. You can try out our shop or maybe try Art of Play. What happened is that the factory has been bought out by a corporate entity, and the press that all the cards were being printed on was sold, and since then a new one was introduced, and the quality is really decent, but for me, for my own liking, it will never be the same compared to these old cards. I mean, these feel like a dream. Oh man, this is so cool. So what's special about Aladdins? This is like a basic deck. There's nothing special to this deck. Custom design only for the backs, but it still looks a little bit too generic. There are two kind of finishes for these decks, and this is air cushion and smooth finish. And what's also interesting, these cards have been produced specifically for Singapore, really high humidity weather, so these are really durable and really satisfying to play with. Like these cards, really nice. So now on to our top 3. It was really tough to select the top 3, but I think Absolut Vodka deck deserves some credit here. And this is a really weird deck of playing cards. No one knows when it was produced, how many decks, what is the run, where it was produced. But the most exciting fact about this deck is it consists only of 2 layers of paper. Like any other deck that I'm reviewing right now has 3 layers, and it's really thin. You can actually see through the cards. Because of being so thin, they have been favored by OG cardists 10-15 years ago. Since then, the cards have become a real scarce on the market, and right now you can get this on eBay. Of course, you can buy some on our website as well. And the feeling of these cards is really unique. I would say they have some similarities with the Aladdins because they have this kind of smooth finish, but they also feel kind of plasticky. The cards are like at least 10 cards thinner compared to any other deck. Yeah, I would say 10 cards thinner. This is a really nice deck of cards. If you have one, congratulations, and if you don't, you're not really missing out a lot, but still it's a unique deck, and it has a unique feel to it. And now onto the second place, and this is interesting. This is a deck that wasn't really designed for cardistry. These have been extensively used by Wynn Casino. Then again, these have been never produced since 2008, and right now these are scarce as well, and this is Wynn deck of playing cards. It fans terribly, so you can't really do any fan. I mean, you can, but you have to be more diligent about your fan. I mean, you have to try more. You compare it with any other deck, like Virtuoso deck, the fans are really nice, straight out of the box. Because you can't really fan this deck, that means that this should be easy to separate it into blocks. And indeed they are. This is a deck that had been used by some OGs like Dan and Dave Buck, Chris Hesnes, Jordan Lappin. The guys from Dealer's Grip back then, Tobias and Oliver, have been using this deck extensively as well. So this is the number 2. Now onto the number 1, and this deck has no rivals, and this is Jerry's Nugget playing cards. We have already made a video about this, covering the history, all the details. The price for this skyrocketed in 90s, I believe. This originally went in 1970s for 50 cents, and right now you can get this for, I don't know, 600 bucks, 700 bucks.
Funny enough, when we first started, we were able to buy these decks for $5 a deck, and we bought many of them and just used them. We used them like nothing, we threw them away, we gave them away. If only we had known they were going to be $500 a deck.
I've been using extensively this deck since 2010, and they still fan. Really nice. This can be easily separated for any packet cards you want, and they handle like a dream, even considering that I've been using these for about 9 years now.
Everyone asks, like, is it really a good deck? And I would say it is. Like, the quality is very distinct. There is nothing else like it. And if I had to give you a reason why, I think it's because, you know, they were last printed in the 70s and they sat in the warehouse for, you know, 50 years now. So maybe that had something to do with it.
Really interesting and fascinating that casino decks are being favored by cardists, but it is what it is. This has been my top 8 list. I'm thinking about finishing this video with a giveaway. So here's a few decks, probably a few more. I'm going to give away 8 decks of playing cards, and these are Aladdins produced in Erlanger, 2 Aladdins actually, 2 Virtuosos Spring Summer 17, I believe, up for grabs, and we also have 2 Cardistry Touch Pulse decks and 2 Orbit decks. This is the 6th edition, and we're going to mix these, and we're going to find 4 people from the comment section down below, and all you have to do is just leave a comment and let us know what is your top 8 list, top 5 list of playing cards for Cardistry. Maybe we have missed some decks, and you will also get some increased chances if you tag us in your Facebook or your Twitter by mentioning us, and then of course leaving a link to this video. I hope you found this video useful and interesting, and I really hope that some of you will go home with these decks, and in 2 weeks time we will select a winner and we'll update the winner info in the description down below. That's it for me now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers!